Welcome to the Millionaire Real Estate Summit, where you'll learn from top real estate agents, team leaders, and brokers what their number one lead sources were to sell over $1 million. You'll gain the strategies and tactics you need to convert more leads and set more appointments.
Hey guys, I'm so excited. Today we have Jeff Cohn. Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Chantel, thank you so much. First off, I'm humbled to be listed among these top agents that you guys are going to be interviewing. And my number one priority is to bring value to your audience. So I started in real estate back in 2006 after getting an undergrad degree in business. My grandma cried when I told her I was getting my license. If you remember in 06, 07, 08, that's when we started to see the crash. And I just hit the ground running, was rookie of the year, sold real estate for 6 consecutive years, and launched a team in 2011. My team was out in India originally, and then we moved over to Berkshire Hathaway. And we went from 70 to over 700 sales in 6 years, making us one of the fastest growing residential real estate teams in history and the number one real estate team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services in the world last year. And I believe that we will be this year as well. We just recently announced at FutureCon in Vegas last week that we're joining the Keller Williams family to launch a market center in West Omaha, 15 minutes from Warren Buffett's house. So we're really excited to be joining Keller Williams. And we'll talk about that a little bit later if you want. But to date, in the last 13 years, our group has sold over 5,000 houses, totaling $1 billion in real estate sales. But the thing that I think is probably more unique that the audience members would want to know is that we've been able to launch a handful of ancillary businesses like mortgage, title, insurance, investing, a call center, a coaching company, and the list goes on and on. And I was able to do that because when I launched the team in 2011, within 2 years, I was 7th level with the Keller Williams talk, where you net $1 million a year and your team can continue to grow without you being necessary. So you stop having the job of selling and you focus on being an entrepreneur and building and scaling a dominant business. And it gave me the time and flexibility to go out and put attention towards other things that run parallel to that residential real estate transaction.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about your number one lead source. So you can give us your number one, but your top ones, like
Sure.
Where do you get your leads from that you love?
Get ready, guys. Everybody's going to get shocked by this answer. Sphere of influence. I mean, come on. Really, we're going to be, so many of us are relying on internet leads. And just so you all know, I've spent over $1 million on internet lead gen in the last 8 years. And I'm going to talk about our lead gen processes. In a seller's market, you want to work Sphere. In a buyer's market, you want to work internet leads. In a neutral market, you want to work both. And on top of that, you want to put a huge emphasis on outbound prospecting. The challenge is that all agents are not created equal. So one agent might be stronger on phones while another one's stronger in person. And to know where your strengths lie and where your team's strengths lie, you have to track the numbers analytically. So 8 years we've been tracking using Excel. Last year we started using a product called Sisu, SISU.co. And it is like absolutely incredible in terms of how well it does at tracking key performance indicators like calls to contacts, contacts to appointments, appointments to closings. And so as we get into the lead gen and lead conversion today, I have all of the analytics from the last 8 years.
How do you spell that? How do you spell that?
SISU.co, Sisu. It's a Japanese word. Yep. So it has an API with Boomtown. So if you go and Sync and all of the other top CRMs. So when you go in and you log that you made 17 calls with the Mojo dialer, it automatically updates those statistics within Sisu. So you as the team lead can see how many calls has each agent made every day? How many texts have they sent out? And it sends a reminder to the agent every night and says, hey, please log your calls. So if they didn't call from Boomtown or log it on Boomtown, they can go in and they can set it up themselves and put in, did they meditate today? Did they get their workout in? Did they do their one thing in any different category? It's pretty fascinating, and it creates leaderboards. So you can have big flat screen TVs in your office that live there that show who's the top prospector, who's the top listing agent, who's the top buyer's agent. And it's a game changer for offices that want to motivate by having those visuals. And then there's also a gamification component where agents get points, so to speak, for different activities, those key performance indicators. And then those points can be used to buy swag like this hat, or it could take you on a trip, or it could get you a better commission split. Really, the sky's the limit with how you want to gamify.
Wow, I love that. So
sphere of influence is the answer.
Is your number one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
What would be your number
one.
two? What would you say is like number 2 and number 3 for you?
So for our team, Google ads, Facebook ads, and Craigslist. We've done about a third of our business over the last 8 years has come from those 3 buckets: Google AdWords, Facebook AdWords, and Craigslist organic posting, essentially. And so we generate today, Chantel, 2,000 leads a month. And to get that, we need 22,000 visitors a month to our site. 1 out of 10 visitors gives us their contact information, and we convert 2% of those 2,000. We're at about a 2% conversion ratio using all of our lead conversion best strategies. And I know right now it costs me $1 to get a visit to the site. It costs me $10 to get those 10 people out to the site to get one of them to register. So it's $10 a lead. And at a 2% conversion ratio, I'm spending around $500 for one converted lead, which makes us on average $6,000. And I do a 50-50 split with whatever agent wants to take internet leads. So I'm netting $2,500 and the agent's keeping $3,000. But the beauty of it, and one of the strategies we've implemented from the beginning, is I'm not paying for any leads. All of my leads are being paid for through ancillary businesses I own and or through marketing service agreements that I've created. So it's truly an infinite ROI.
So what's the total amount that you're paying for leads per month?
Right now in Omaha, we're spending $8,500 a month for single family and $20,000 a month for investment acquisition on the single family and multi. And that investment acquisition business feeds the single family as well. So net total, we're now up to like $28,500 a month.
Okay, so I lost you. Repeat that last part that you just said. Break that down for me one more time.
Yeah, so I own a lot of different businesses. So you're asking how much I spend on lead gen. So in the single family business, which is Omaha's Elite Real Estate Group, which is becoming a market center, KW Elite, we have 30 agents. We generate 2,000 leads a month. I spend $8,500 on paid ads. $6,500. So you're spending about
$4.25 per lead then. Is that $4
a lead? Yeah. No, okay. So it just depends. It depends where the lead sources are from. It's $10 a lead because it's about $1 a click. So we're running, if you run right now, someone searches, don't do my name area, do Denver, buy house, Denver, Colorado. You have the little ads that pop up. A lot of those are going to be sync sites, Real Geeks, Boomtown. You click on those little ads and it costs $1. And the typical conversion ratio when those people get pushed to a squeeze page is 1 out of 10 clicks is going to be a lead. So if you're paying $1 a click, that's $10 a lead. If you're paying $2 a click, that's $20 a lead. And then you have to track how many leads do you need to give out to your agents or you yourself to convert a deal. And what I call that is clarity. And if you can't define your clarity with the money you're spending, stop spending the money. It has to be something that's trackable. People are like, well, you know, I think it works. I hope it works. Do not do something because you're thinking or you're hoping. Inspect what you expect, track everything, be obsessive with your analytics because it empowers you. So what it did for me is I knew it cost $500 to make 3,000. That's a 6x return. So what's my bottleneck at that point? I always assumed the bottleneck would be leads, but we have not hit the point of diminishing returns with lead gen. I could spend 20 grand, 40 grand, 100 grand a month, I believe, and still be able to pay $10 per lead, $500 per executed lead. The bottleneck is human beings willing to implement the best strategies for lead conversion. Agents in Nebraska are just like agents in California or just like agents in South Carolina. A majority of them do not want to work. They got into the business because they saw a show on HGTV and they thought they could sit around and let grandma refer them business from their bunco group. And they don't want to pick up a phone. People talk bad about my team and say we're glorified telemarketers. And I said, exactly. Our goal is to engage as many people as possible every single day, have as many conversations as possible to bring value to people within our sphere of influence. And of course, when we can meet with someone to share with them a buyer presentation or a listing presentation, that's going to be our ultimate goal.
So let's talk about, you said Facebook, Craigslist, and Google AdWords. So are you managing those Google AdWords in-house or do you have someone that's managing those for you?
No, from day one. So we launched our Boomtown platform in 2011 in September. We are one of the fastest growing Boomtown teams in history. I actually don't know of another team that grew faster than us, going from 70 to 700 deals our first 6 years on the platform. And we have always allowed them to manage our Google ad, Facebook ad campaign. I do outsource my Craigslist ad campaign. Now, Craigslist, you can't put a live URL any longer. You used to be able to have a hyperlink, but you can still put the code and someone can copy and paste the code into a different browser to see additional pictures of the property. And I have a gentleman in the Dominican Republic who posts 100 houses a day for me, and he'd post houses for you guys as well. If you go to jeffsfavoritetools.com, there's actually a link to Alberto Alltech World, and he'll do it for a couple $100s a month. And we generate a ton of leads. Every year we do about 30 to 50 deals from Craigslist.
And what was it was Jeff's favorite?
jeffsfavoritetools.com.
Okay.
And that will showcase all of the different businesses, including Sisu and Boomtown and Alberto and all the different third-party businesses that we use to help our team be where we're at today.
Awesome. So with Craigslist, he handles all that. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have
you just have to have a computer in your office. It's really cool. I have a laptop in my office, and he uses a product called TeamViewer to sync in from the Dominican Republic. He'll virtually go into your computer because Craigslist tracks the IP address in which the device is posting from. So he has to wirelessly access the computer in your office so he can post in your market. And then you as the team lead have to go out and get permission from agents in your office or brokers to post their listings. For whatever reason, IDX doesn't give you permission to manually post property. You can't put someone else's house on a billboard, but you can have an IDX sync into 100 websites you own. It doesn't make any sense, but you cannot, in most real estate commissions, post someone's house to Craigslist without the broker's permission. And so we have permission from like 150 agents, which totals like 500 listings. And the goal of posting to Craigslist is depth, because now on Craigslist, you can search houses based on price, bedrooms, bathrooms, et cetera. So the more properties you have in there, like over the next 5 days, we'll have 500 houses. The more properties, the more depth, the more price points, the more leads you're going to be able to generate, and you can control it. People are like, well, Craigslist is crappy leads. You don't post homes under whatever price point you don't want to work, and you won't generate crappy leads. So we only post houses over 200,000 on the Craigslist. And so we're generating $200,000 buyers or above, or $200,000 sellers or above.
That's awesome. Okay, so now let's talk about conversion, because I agree with you. It's just unbelievable. And all these agents who are like, they're just paying all this money for lead and they're not converting them. So let's give some tips on what you do to convert.
Yeah. From an abundant mindset, you'll love this story, Chantel. And I know, Chantel, you and I go back a ways. I host team trainings every week. We do 2 hours of training every week as a team, but we open up our offices every time we host a training. We open up our office to anyone across all brokerage brands to just come and attend our trainings and get value and pay it back, pay it forward essentially. And we hosted a training last year and we did a ton of press about it, all on lead gen. It was the beginning of the year, just like what you and I just talked about. And everybody wanted to know all these different ways we generated leads, because we generate a lot of leads. And I said to everyone, we had over 25 people attend. And I said, now you guys got to make sure, these are people not on my team. I said, you got to make sure you come back next month, because the topic next month is going to teach you how to convert the leads. The leads in and of themselves aren't going to make you money. You have to learn how to convert the leads. More importantly, teach the people within your organization to be able to convert those leads. And we got 3 people back the following month. Everybody wants to know how to generate leads. Nobody wants to listen to the work that's necessary to do it. So do you mind if I run you through and the audience through kind of our processes?
Absolutely. I'd love it.
All right. So first off, no lead is considered equal. If you get a referral from Grandma's Bunko group, that is the most important lead. You want to impress Grandma first and foremost so that she keeps sending you referrals, and thank Grandma for sending you the referral. And you want to love on that person more than anybody else, because it's part of your personal sphere. If you get a lead from Craigslist and they said, I'm thinking about buying in 5 years from now, that lead's going to be different than the referral from Grandma's Bunko group. So we organize people into 5 groups. Hot is someone you have an appointment set with. Nurture is someone that tells you they're 3 to 6 months out. Watch is someone that tells you they're 6 to 12 months out. Archive, contacted, is someone you talked to that said they're more than a year out. Archive, not contacted, is somebody you never were able to get a hold of. So this is kind of like your 2 weeks of exact intentional activities that you're going to do to get you the best result. And to us, the best result is being able to have a conversation with each and every lead, independent of where the lead came from. So these strategies don't just apply to internet lead conversion. These strategies also apply to helping convert Grandma's Bunko lead, or helping convert a lead that you met at an open house. And this is where agents, I think, and team leaders unfortunately fall short, is they think when you talk lead conversion, you're just talking internet lead conversion. The exact practices you'll implement to convert internet leads are ones that you should deploy for converting your SOI leads and your own personal prospecting leads. People are people are people, and you win by getting them to know you, like you, trust you, and then ultimately wanting to work with you. So what we've discovered, Chantel, over the last 8 years is the average lead inside of our CRM, independent of where the lead came from, took 6 months months to go under contract from the day we added them to the CRM to the day they go under contract. And then they still didn't close for 45 more days. And what agents assume is when they get the referral from Bunko Group or they get the new registered lead from Google Ads or Homes.com or Realtor.com or Zillow or wherever, they think they're making money off that lead in a month. And this is the big misconception. And I think the picture that was painted the wrong way from the lead companies out there is you cannot expect to make money off of a lead for at least 8 months minimum. And now obviously there's outliers in there. And so we know that to win, it's not just about getting a hold of them right in the beginning. It's about loving on them for 6 months before they go under contract. So I'm going to dive into our best. I'm so glad you
said that. Well, let me stop you right there because I want to say that I agree. What we say every time is our leads, the best time to go back and even redo them and to convert them is 6 to 8 months. We say our leads convert in that 6 to 8 months. And everyone, all the agents are like, I want a brand new lead. I want a brand new lead. I want a brand new lead.
Yeah.
You're not ready when they get it at the brand new. You've got to keep following up until that mark.
I love it.
Real quick, I want you to talk about how do you, when the lead comes in, first of all, what is your CRM that you're using to track these leads? And what is your follow-up process to do that?
Okay.
And what is yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So first off, the way we assign the leads, we believe the agent should be the first person to make contact. I know there's a lot of people out there using virtual assistants. I own a virtual assistant company, 1,000 calls a day with 100 virtual callers. My cousin owns Rockerbox, which does lead scrubbing, which is incredible. So for those team leaders listening to this, whose agents just absolutely won't pick up the phone, use Rockerbox, ROKRBOX. They do an amazing job. But I believe fundamentally and philosophically that your agent should be making the phone call. The agent who's going to service the lead. That's what's best for the consumer. So what I did is I have 30 agents and I have 50 leads a day coming in. And I tell each of my agents if they want leads, they have to physically work those leads in our office from 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. But we turn the leads on at 8 p.m. the night before. So every agent on the team, if they want, they can take a 24-hour lead day. In that 24 hours, they're going to get 50 people who've been forced to register on our website. And out of those 50 people, the expectation we've said is that they have to call each and every one of those people that register between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. They have to call them within the first 60 seconds. We have to call the person while they're on the website. And the goal of the phone call is to go through LP Mama. Location, price, mortgage, agent, motivation, and setting up the appointment. And so every time you engage grandma's Bunko friend, a person at an open, an internet lead, it's the same conversation. You're taking them through LP Mama. And that's where the goal is.
Say LP Mama one more time.
LP Mama.
No, what is LP Mama? Do it one more time.
Oh. Yeah. So I hope I'm getting it right, but it's location. So, hey, where are you thinking about buying? Price, what price point are you going to be in? Mortgage, have you been pre-approved? What's your buying power? Agent, are you already working with anybody else? Because you want to find out if they're an exclusive. And then motivation, what's your time frame and how motivated are they? And then the last day, the most important, always be closing. You're setting up an appointment.
Awesome.
So every time you talk to anyone via text, via call, via Insta, message, every time you engage with someone, the question is, how far out do you think you are? Now, what they think isn't reality, right? We all know the person that says they're a year out and then they do something in 2 months and we're like, why didn't you call me? You said you were a year out. That's why as I walk you through our best practices, we're going to make sure there's no lead left behind. We're going to make sure that we're going to keep on them until they buy, sell, die, or tell us to go to hell. And so I'm going to walk you through kind of what that process looks like. So the first 24 hours when a lead registers or we generate a lead from our sphere or our open or referral from grandma's Bunko group, the goal is to engage the lead and have a conversation. So we're going to make that first initial call. If no answer, we're going to leave a voicemail. Hi, it's Jeff Cohn. Saw you just registered on our website. Or, hey, I got a referral from my grandma, said you're going to be selling your property. Just wanted to touch base and talk to you a little bit about the location that you're going to be in and if you're pre-approved yet and what your time frame is. I'm here to help. I want to be a resource to you and your experience. I'm going to shoot you an email with all my contact. I mean, you guys get the gist. You just do your initial call. You leave a voicemail. If they don't call you back within 2 or 3 hours, you call 2 more times that day. So a net total of 3 calls, 1 text, 1 voicemail in the first 24 hours. In addition to that, you're setting them up on an automatic email. If they're a buyer lead, anytime a new listing goes on the market, like the one that they were looking at when they came into your website, you're setting them up on auto email to get those new buyer leads that are going to go to them. And that's the reason they keep coming back to you is to get those leads. Boomtown does all this automatically. It's all automated. So if they look at 17 houses, Boomtown says, okay, This is the avatar of exactly what it is they're looking for. We're going to automatically send them emails every time a house hits. The thing that I think we do that's unique, that's a big takeaway for your audience, is if they're a seller lead, everyone's like, well, what would you send them? What do you think the seller wants to know? They want to know what houses are selling for in their neighborhood. So I'm going to ask them for permission. Would it be all right if they run a home val? You'll know what neighborhood that they're in. If they don't, you're going to ask them, hey, Chantel, I'd love to send you a listing every time a house sells or goes on the market in your neighborhood. Would you like to keep tabs of what the real estate market's doing? If you just share with me your email address, I'd be happy to get you set up. And every time that someone sells or goes on the market, I'll shoot you a quick email. That's a great value add for your SOI. So the last thing is drip emails. So in that first day, you have the auto emails going based on if they're a buyer or a seller, based on the search or their neighborhood. Obviously, you've made your 3 calls, 1 text, 1 voicemail. The last thing is having a drip email campaign. So every lead source that's a buyer and every lead source that's a seller, we've written a chain of 7 emails that go out in the first 14 days. So if you're a lead from Zillow, the initial, we'll start the Zillow buyer drip email. And if you're a seller lead from Zillow, we'll start the Zillow seller drip email. And over the course of the next 14 days, about every other day, they'll get an email. But what we've done that's unique is one looks like it's an email sent from a computer with a full email signature. That's about 2 or 3 paragraphs. And the next one is an email that looks like it was sent from a cell phone that says sent from my iPhone or sent from my Samsung Galaxy. That's only 2 or 3 sentences. So they don't think we're a bot because of the way we're communicating with them. And now you can include auto text messaging as well, which again makes it feel like you're not a bot.
Now, are you doing all of these, first of all, is your whole CRM Boomtown and all your drip emails and your text and everything coming from Boomtown?
Absolutely. And it's all automated. So when my agent's on lead day and they get 50 leads and they don't get a hold of a lead, they just go push a button and move to the next lead. And when they push that button, it starts the email campaign. It starts the automatic email updates. And then I'll talk to you in a second about what
text messages.
Yeah, everything's automated. This is all in Boomtown.
And
so
where's those text messages go? Like when that text message comes back, whose phone number is that text message?
To the agent.
From?
It goes back to Boomtown, but it goes to the agent. Just like the email, it goes back to Boomtown. It's the email, but it goes to the agent. So the agent can respond from their phone when they get the text into their Boomtown account because the number is synced with their cell phone number.
Got it.
All right, so that's day 1, first 24 hours, baby. If you don't get a hold of the lead, then we're moving into the qualify stage. So that was the 24 hours is new. The next 13 days, the lead's in qualify. Now, keep in mind throughout this whole process, once you talk to a lead, you're done with the lead up front. I call it like planting the seed. You're done placing it in the appropriate category. And then you will communicate with the lead depending on what category it's in a different way. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So assuming that you had 50 leads and let's say 10 of them are Mickey Mouse and go pound sand. So you have 40 real people. Out of the 40 real people, you call them all 3 times, you send the text, you do the voicemail, you get a hold of half of them and you place them in the appropriate category. But now in your qualify account, the next 13 days, there's still 20 more people you haven't gotten a hold of. Our expectation we've set for our agents is that they need to call those leads 7 more times in 13 days for a net total of 10 call attempts. And after the 7th call in the next 13 days, which is a net total of the 10th call, they have to send 1 more text message and leave 1 more voicemail. Now, keep in mind, if 14 days have passed, that person has now received 7 drip emails and has been getting listing updates if they're on the buy and or on the sell side. And if we've had no contact, they're automatically, the agents even not even having to transfer it, they're going to automatically go into archive, not contacted. And right now we have over 200,000 leads in archive not contacted, but Boomtown does predictable analytics and they have what's called the Boomtown Now wall. And so it helps us work those 200,000 leads by telling us which leads are most likely to buy or sell based on the interaction on the site. So if they look at a house at their office and then they go home and look at the same house in a 24-hour period, it'll ping that lead and say, hey, agent that lead's assigned to, you should call this lead. It's probably likely that they're ready to buy or sell because they've looked at the same property in 24 hours from 2 different IP addresses.
Now, how much are you paying
I know I'm talking a lot.
How much are you paying for Boomtown per month? Do you know?
I've never had to pay for Boomtown. So from day 1, I had marketing service agreement partners pay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you're asking what their cost is. If you're asking what their cost is, it depends if you're an individual agent or a team. But I'd say the average cost for Boomtown's around $1,500, but I just wouldn't pay for it. Go out and partner with 2 lenders, home inspection, home warranty companies, title companies, insurance companies. They can cover all the costs.
Yeah.
Because when people get all weird about this, it's like they want a CRM as well. You can partner with strategic partners as a marketing service agreement, and they can help pay for Boomtown because they're going to use it too. And the beauty of it is that I only convert 2%. There's 98% more opportunities for all those ancillary businesses to dive in and do their own email campaigns and their own drips and their own cold calls. I'm only capturing 2 out of 100 people. There's 98 out of 100 other people for those third-party companies to reach out to. So that's how you go and partner with someone and say, hey, this is a win-win. We're going to create a CRM like Boomtown together, and you guys are going to pay for all the leads. Our team's going to scrub as much as we can. But of course, we're working together to bring these people into our world.
So then do you, after you say, okay, we've done, well, 2 things. Number 1, what if the agent doesn't follow up like they're supposed to? What happens? And 2, do you personally use Rockerbox for the leads that you weren't able to convert?
Okay, so the first question, if the agent doesn't work the leads the way we've asked them to, if they're our leads, we take them away and assign them to someone else. So every week
all automated? Is that all automated?
Every week, each agent sits down with our success coach. And we have several productivity coaches who meet with each agent to hold them accountable to all of the activities that they've said they're going to do, not just with the leads we assign, but also with their own personal prospecting efforts or their workout goals or whatever. So if you've ever read the book, The Dream Manager, we subscribe essentially to that same mindset that we're there to help the agents achieve their dreams, not just make money. And so we help them define first and foremost, what kind of life do they want to live? And then we reverse engineer their call goal based on their income goal, based on their life goal. So each agent on my team has a different call goal. So one person that wants to make 30 grand a year might only make 25 calls a week. And if someone wants to make 200 grand a year, they might have to make 250 calls a week. But we know net total, it takes 150 calls. And that doesn't mean a phone call. That can be a text. That can be a conversation. Just 150 attempts to talk to a decision maker to have one sale. So if you want to make a 6-figure income, we know that's going to take about 30 transactions. And so we just take 30 transactions times 150 divided over 52 weeks or 50 weeks if they want a 2-week vacation. And that tells the agent exactly what activity they have to do this week to be able to make 100,000 to be able to achieve whatever dreams they've set. So when we hold them accountable and they didn't hit their call goal this week that they set for themselves based on the life they want to live, we ask them what item that they have set out to achieve in the next year or 5 years do they want to remove from their vision board. We don't get mad at them. We just say, hey, you can't have the results you'll get by doing these activities if you're not doing the activities. So what on your dream board do you want to take away? Your child education fund, your trip to Africa, the new house? You can't have, the results of the work if you're not putting in the work. And that's a real big eye opener for those within our organization. Now, your second question was all about Rockerbox. We aren't right now, our team is not using Rockerbox. We've used them off and on. We're not using them on the residential side. We are using them on the investment side. So we're running a project right now with Josh Cunningham where they're helping do cold calling for us to find investment properties. So they do an amazing job. I just philosophically think the agent should have to scrub the lead, not the organization.
So you guys don't have an inside call center at all?
I do. I have an inside call center, but not scrubbing the new leads that come in. I have my virtual assistants scrubbing all of the leads that go into the archive not contacted. So when I talked about the opportunity wall and these new opportunities that pop up, our inside sales team is working those opportunities, not working the new opportunities. And this, to me, it's all based on the golden rule where do unto others as you'd like others to do unto you. If I register on a website, I don't want the virtual caller calling me and handing me off to the salesperson. I want the salesperson calling me. Come earn your commission. And if they don't, I'm not interested in doing business with them. I just think it's not right. Fundamentally, philosophically, whatever. And it's obviously worked for us. We've grown super fast. Our average agent that takes leads sells about 7 to 8 internet leads a year off of the leads we generate. And it's like 4 or 5x the industry's average because we're following these best practices. All right, I want to finish this and I only have about 10 more minutes, Chantel.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we talked about the first two weeks. So when a new lead comes in, and remember, it's not just internet leads. We're calling them 10 times, setting them up on a drip email based on where they came from and if they're a buyer or a seller, setting them up on auto email that's going to send them new houses based on the search they did when they were on the site or new listings that go live in their neighborhood or sell in their neighborhood. And we're going to send them 2 text messages and 2 voicemails. We don't get a hold of any of those people, then they're going to go to archive not contacted. But if we do get a hold of someone, they say they're more than a year out, they're going to go to archive contacted. Inside of archive contacted and archive not contacted, there's a drip email that goes out every 5 weeks. And that goes for 10 years. So they're going to get an email, and the emails just rotate. And if people don't know what content to put in the drip email, all that your drip email should include is the value proposition if it's a buyer and the value proposition if it's a seller. And so all we did was took our listing presentation and broke it down into emails, and took our buyer presentation and broke it down into emails. For example, it would say, hey, Chantel, I'm not sure if you knew this, but we use reverse prospecting. When you list your house with our team, we have 300,000 people in our database. And the day we go to your house to do a listing presentation, we can actually show you 100+ buyers that are interested in your property based on the searches they've been doing on our website in the last couple of days. Let us know if you'd like us to come by and show you this list of buyers. And that would be one of our call to actions to try to get into a house. That would be a drip email. And we'd include B-roll. We might include a video. We might include an example of what that list of potential buyers would look like. So you're putting out these carrots for a seller or these carrots for a buyer with the whole intent of getting in front of them to be able to share with them a buyer presentation and have them sign an exclusive buyer agency agreement, or a listing presentation to have them sign a listing agreement. My belief is that we want to help the agent make the most amount of money in the least amount of time with the least amount of energy. And an agent's best income producing activity is outbound prospecting and meeting with clients to share the buyer and listing presentation. Outside of that, you can hire someone for $10 an hour to service the listing, to service the buyer, to do the paperwork, contract to close work, stay in contact with your SOI after closing. All of that is a $10 to $15 an hour job. But the actual prospecting, getting a hold of the lead and going on the appointment and getting them to sign on the line that is dotted, that's the activity that's going to make you the most amount of money. All right.
Well, hold on. I have to ask you one question. Okay, I have to ask you a question. So
go ahead.
How long are the duty shifts, and how do they sign up for them, and how did the leads get distributed? Is it automated with technology, or do you have someone who assigns out the leads?
I love you, Chantel. You ask good questions. So our duty shift is 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., but the leads start coming in the night before at 8 p.m. So if you're on my team, you get leads for 24 hours from, like today, someone's on lead day today. Their leads started coming in at 8 p.m. last night, but I'm not going to require them to work at night. So what I say to them is, hey, your leads are going to start coming in. If you want to call them last night, go for it. But we are going to require you, if you're taking leads in the next 24 hours, when you get to the office at 10 a.m., you're going to call everyone that registered 8 p.m. last night until 10 a.m. today. And starting now at 10 a.m. when you come in for your shift till 8 p.m. tonight, everyone that registers, you need to call them in the first 60 seconds. And in Boomtown, I can see when they made the first call attempt. If they don't get a hold of the lead, I know they called 6 minutes after the lead registered, or 12 minutes. I know how many times they called, how many texts they sent, if they started the lead on a drip email. I know everything that my agent did. So it's easy to hold them accountable and help them be successful with converting those leads. And then what was the other question?
You kind of answered it, but so they get a 24-hour period basically where they are getting those leads, and you only have one person for that day.
Yep. And that's every lead that comes in. We have 100 listings with a Google Voice number on it that directly goes to whoever's on lead day as well. So they're taking Google Voice calls into the office. They're taking every registered lead. All of the leads that register on Boomtown go directly into their Boomtown account, and they own that lead forever. There's some organizations that put all the leads in just one generic account, and then agents pull the leads out of it. One of the perks of being on my team is, independent of if that deal goes together or what kind of lead it is, they own that lead as long as they're on my team. So agents that have been with me for 5+ years have like 5,000 leads inside of their account that are in archive, but every week, every month, there's leads bubbling up outside of the archive because like I told you, I have a virtual assistant that's working the archive categories, constantly touching base with the archive leads. We're using predictable analytics to determine who inside of archive is most likely to come back and be in what we call all active. So I want to get through the rest of the categories. Oh, from a organizational standpoint, we use Google Calendar, Google Drive for all of our documents, but Google Calendar works really well. So every month, my productivity coach just puts together a calendar and sends it out to the team and says, hey, this is what the calendar is for this month's lead days. Let us know if there's any problems. And then they can reach out to us if they need to switch days. So Chantel's Monday, John Doe's Tuesday, Jane Doe's Wednesday, and it shows it on the Google Calendar. And then our virtual assistant goes into the Google Voice account every day and switches to whoever it shows is on the Google Calendar that day.
Got it.
All right. So we talked about new. When a new lead comes in, we talked about qualify. Where the rubber meets the road is what I'm about to talk about. So if you've been annoyed with this up to this point and you thought I've talked too fast and you haven't been paying attention, please cue into this. This is what has helped us scale so fast. It's the activities we did from the day we planted the seed to the day that seed grew and gave us fruit. If we want to use a farming analogy, I'm in Omaha, so I'm going to do it. So When we put the seed into hot, that category denotes that lead is ready to meet with us, meaning we have a date set. When you want to talk about a hot date, I've been married 16 years. Let's say that you're in the singles game again and you're bragging about this hot date with this cute guy or cute gal that you're going to go out with. And the follow-up question is, that's awesome. Where are you guys going? What day are you getting together? And then the response is, well, we don't have a date set. We don't have a location determined. That's not hot. That's called a cold date. So there's so often the agents are like, I've got this hot lead. It's going to be $1 million buyer. It's a slam dunk. And I'm like, oh, when are you meeting with them? Well, we don't have a date set yet. Well, that's not hot, just so you know. So if they're in hot, there has to be a date set. If there's no date set, then they're a nurture lead, which is 3 to 6 months out. And we're going to treat the lead differently dependent upon what category it's in. And what's nice is as we stay focused with having this hot category, when we sit down with each agent every week, we'll go through all their hots first. That's their gold. That's the leads that are most likely to go pending or to get listed here in the next 7 to 14 days. And if the lead doesn't have an appointment set, then we're going to force the agent to move that into the nurture category. So hot leads are going to get their listing updates still, but they're not going to get drip emails because you're already working with them. But they're going to be getting those listing updates based on the specific search parameters or the neighborhood that they're in. And then next is nurture. So if someone says to you, Chantel, I'm not buying for 3 months or 8 months, or 6 months, you're going to put them into the nurture category. Anyone in nurture that indicated they're 3 to 6 months out is going to get a call or text from you personally every 15 days. So we will track that with our agents, and it doesn't matter where the lead came from. If they generated the lead or it's a lead we gave them, we go into their nurture every week and sort it based on last contact. And everyone inside their nurture needed to have been contacted within the last 15 days. So think about that. Someone says they're 5 months out and the agent's reaching out every 15 days. Who do you think they're going to want to work with in 6 months from now? The agent that said, hey, call me when you're ready to buy a house, or the agent that just kept checking in, as long as you're not annoying. So every time we check in, we're offering something of value. I'd connect with you. Let's do a role play call because I bet people would want to hear what that sounded like.
Sure.
You just told me you're 6 months out. Hey, Chantel, 15 days later. Hey, Chantel, it's Jeff Cohn. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Good. Hey, I'm so glad to be able to connect with you. I know when we talked a couple of weeks ago, you indicated that, you guys are still about 6 months out on that home you wanted to purchase over in XYZ area for around $500,000. I was just really excited to touch base with you. I wanted to make sure all the listings that I'm sending to you are accurate based on the conversation we had a couple of weeks back. Have you been getting my emails?
Yeah, I've been getting them, but I kind of feel like it's a waste because, I'm not really going to, my lease doesn't end for another 5 months. So I feel like it's kind
not
of
a waste at all. It's not a waste at all because we want to help you be educated. So when it is the right time for you to buy, you're not nervous and you're confident that you're making the right decision. And here's the dirty little secret, Chantel. Those leads I'm sending you are actually automated. The time I took was to set up and customize your search parameters for you, but I'm not actually personally going in and hitting send. So don't feel guilty if you're not looking at the emails. I can actually see when you're opening and looking at them and if you're not. And I did notice you hadn't been looking at them. That's totally fine. I just wanted to empower you to make the best buying decision. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to keep checking in with you every couple of weeks just to make sure the content I'm sending to you is actually useful for you. And just in case you have any questions or anything like that, I really want to be your point of contact when you are ready to buy and or to sell your next house. Would that be okay with you?
Sure.
Awesome. Well, great chatting with you. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And hopefully we can talk first of the year.
Sounds great.
All right. See you later. So how do you feel about me as the agent after that phone call?
Yeah, I feel great.
If it's like that, you feel good, right? Like this person cares. Yeah. It's not a hard close. It's not, are you sure you don't want to buy now? And you're pushing them into it. You're not asking for referrals every stupid phone call. It's just a quick touch. And the reality is 4 times out of 5, only 80% of the time the person won't answer and you'll drop a voicemail. So we have pre-recorded voicemails that we keep in Mojo Dialer. And the voicemail would sound something like this. For just my nurtures, I'm going to have a voicemail for my nurture buyers. Hey, it's Jeff Cohn. I know you're not doing anything for a couple of months. I just wanted to touch base to show you I care about you. And I want to be your point of contact when it is the right time. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me by call, text, email, whatever's most convenient for you. Looking forward to working with you in a couple months from now. Have a good day. Bye. So every time that 4 out of 5 times when the voicemail picks up, I push a button in Mojo and it drops that voicemail and I'm already moving on to make my next call. So it's not that hard. And all active, the agent should have 100 leads. So their new qualify is going to have around 30 or 40. Their nurture is going to have around 20 or 30. And then their watch is going to have around 20 or 30. So let's get through nurture and then get to watch. And then I'll be done essentially with lead conversion. Yeah. So inside of nurture, you're going to call every 15 days. The drip email, let's say if it's a buyer lead, you're also going to send a drip email every 2 to 3 weeks. The reason we don't do every week is that they'll opt out if they're getting too much content from you. And the reason we're not calling every week is they're going to be like, dude, quit bugging me if you're calling every week. So we'll communicate more the closer it is they've indicated they're buying or selling, and we'll communicate less the further out they've communicated to us that they're going to be buying or selling. The listing update email that we send, or the buyer lead update email every time a new buyer house hits the market, that also goes out once a week. Instead of every day, when it's in hot, every day a new house comes out, it goes out. But if it's in nurture 3 to 6 months out, we just have that list of homes go out to them once a week, not every day. And then in watch category, which is 6 to 12 months out, the agent calls every 30 days. The email update goes out every 2 weeks instead of every week. And the drip emails go out about every 3 to 5 weeks instead of every 2 to 3 weeks. So we're just it's the exact same communication. The drip email is the exact same content. It's just going to be going out to them a little bit later if they're 6 to 12 months out. And so what we found when you talk about points of diminishing returns and analytics surrounding these leads is if an agent has about 100 active leads and they're all active category, and they're working predominantly internet leads, they should convert at 3%. If you double they're all active, and let's say you go to 200 active leads, their lead conversion is going to get cut in half. It's going to go to about 1 to 1.5%. And why we believe the industry average is less than 1% is because agents are inundated with leads. And the problem isn't the lead. The problem is that the agent isn't putting enough time towards creating a relationship of trust and loving on that lead and calling it 10 times, 2 texts, 2 voicemails, placing it in the appropriate category, and then having a long-term relationship with lead. And I know 100% that if you do everything I just said, and it doesn't take as much time as it might have felt with how I explained it all. It's not as hard as it maybe sounds because you're using a Mojo dialer, you're using automation if you set it up on drip email. Boomtown's doing a lot of the work for you, but you can convert 3%. And that 3% is huge when the industry average is like half of 1%.
All right. Well, that was amazing. Let's end with just one last thing. Tell us your 3 favorite systems that have helped you to be able to grow and scale that you couldn't live without.
Boomtown, number 1. BoomtownROI.com, no brainer. It's the most expensive CRM that I know that's out there, but you get what you pay for. We would not be where we are today without the robust systems that are offered. And they also offer you not only the back-end client relationship management software, but the front-facing consumer website. We've been really happy with Boomtown. Second would be Sisu for sure, sisu.co. Sisu is going to help you gamify everything, have leaderboards. It's going to help you determine your key performance indicators, give you your return on investment. I didn't have time today to talk about return on time because it's not just looking at did you have a positive return, but how much time had to go in to converting that buyer or to converting that seller. And then the third thing, I think I'd give the credit to Google. You can get everything free on Google. We use Gmail still. We use Google Calendar, Google Drive, all of the Google products to keep us organized. And I know, Chantel, you have some pretty amazing systems that you've built out, but for somebody that doesn't want to take the time to have a really, in-depth system or process, they just want to keep it simple. We've done a lot just working off of all the Google products.
Awesome. Well, you've been amazing. You've given us so much value. Tell listeners where they can find you and follow you.
Yeah. So a few things you see behind me, if you've been watching this, I have the Team Building Podcast sign. We've been hosting a podcast for 4 years that's specific to individuals trying to build and scale a dominant team and or brokerage. So check us out on iTunes. You can. We're also on YouTube if you want to watch the episodes. We're on Stitcher. We're all over the place on that. You just search the Team Building Podcast or just search my name, Jeff Cohn. Our coaching organization is Modern Coaching for the Modern Agent, where we do group coaching. We have over 150 clients right now in that product. You can go out to eliterealestatesystems.com to learn about that. And then something else that's unique that Josh has taken advantage of, Chantel, and I want to get you out to Omaha. I'll let you come for free for giving me this opportunity to be on your show today. But we host the Team Building Workshop and the ERS Investor Workshop, and they're a 2-day event back to back. You can go to one or both. We have one every other month next year. So in January and in March, you can find more information out about those 2 events on our website under events at eliterealestatesystems.com. And then every summer, we host a huge event called the Team Building Summit that is specifically for team leaders and broker owners. It's one of a kind event. I've never seen anyone else host an event like this where it's not for the individual agent. It's just for the entrepreneur. And we expect to have around 250 people in 2020. That's going to be on July 12th through July 14th. I think that's pretty much everything. Let me give the listeners a couple more things. So I have my roadmap to success. If you want to download that, you just go to jeffsbusinessplan.com, JEFFS businessplan.com. And that's free. We'll ask you for your contact information, but you'll get the business plan PDF for free. And then I also have a keynote that I thought I was going to be sharing with you guys today. I was on stage in March 2019 at Boomtown Unite for 45 minutes. If you want to watch me live on stage teaching my class, which stands for Culture Leads Accountability System Strategies, and or simply just have my keynote slides, go to jeffskeynote.com, JEFFS keynote.com.
Awesome.
I think that's pretty good. That should point
You
people to
nailed
a lot of
it as usual. You nailed it. You are my favorite. Like, I just love talking with you. I feel like you're like I'm a girl version of you. So you're amazing. Thanks so much.
That's scary. I'm sorry to your husband and all of your family and friends. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yes, you too. And everyone else.
Thank you, Chantel.
Thank you. You guys stay tuned. We have another episode coming right up. Stay with us. Bye-bye.